We'll bring this meeting of council to order at this time. Please note this meeting will be live streamed. Disclosure of pecuniary interest in the general nature thereof. None. Public hearings, none. Delegations, none. Question period. With questions concerning the agenda. None. So part one of the consent agenda.
Your Honor, I'd like to sever D3 to the regular agenda.
Part one consent agenda, moved by Councillor Ron Duplessis, second by Councillor Heather Mott. Be resolved that items A1 to F7, with the exception of item 3, contained in part one consent agenda, be adopted. Yeah, we'll do 3 when we go into G section.
All right. Under the A section, questions or comments? None. Under the B section, questions or comments? Under the D section, 1 and 2, questions or comments? Under the E section, questions or comments? And under the F section, questions or comments? None. All in favor? Carried.
Part 2 of the regular agenda, so item D3, moved by Councillor Heather Malott, second by Councillor Bill Foster. Be it resolved that, as recommended by the Community Services Committee, that Council allocate funds in the 2018 budget to install a pole and mast to install hanging lane designation signs over the northbound lanes of Center Street between Barber and Tuthope Street.
Questions or comments? Councillor Ken.
The concern I have with this issue is the information that was provided from staff. One is a police report saying that there was a few accidents around that area, but none known to be caused by changing lanes. And I think the problem that exists there is speed. You go from the school zone at 40 kilometers and then you hit the UPI, you hit at 50, and you have all the cars parked this way, and people drive through that area very quickly. Now, that being said, it's such a spot to, such a short spot to put up a sign. And I think my concern is the cost of that, approximately $18,000, and we're talking here about the amount of money we have to, we'll be spending in the future, under motion and money that we're spending by direction. And we should think this is unnecessary expenditure for what it's creating. That's my opinion.
Give me 1 second,
Yep.
Bob.
Yep.
I agree with that. I think the putting up a sign halfway is going to congest it more than it's going to relieve it. And I don't see the idea of doing that again. Councillor Bob.
Yeah, since it's community services and I'm the chair, all we did was agree to include it as a budget discussion item. To be honest, I actually agree with you, so we can discuss it. That's all it is. It's just a budgetary discussion item.
I understand that.
Yeah, but I agree with you,
We have enough
with your points.
confusion in budget, it's rough enough.
Yeah.
Let alone, we should just nip it in the bud right now.
Yeah,
A headache we can get rid of.
it can be discussed at budget time, and
It can be too.
so that the whole council, that was the whole idea. The whole council can talk about it, but personally, I agree with what you just said. So,
Councillor Heather.
I certainly agree with Ken as well.
Okay. Councillor Ron.
I have a few concerns, and I had residents, I don't know if the rest did, telling me about the situation. And I personally had two, where it wouldn't have been a weekend and there was no angle parking, I would have been hit. Because the people come up and they don't realize till they get to the light that they gotta be in the outside lane. And I was fortunate when I saw them swerve, and actually it was right after an individual had brought it to my attention the previous week. And I went into the parking lanes and didn't get hit because they just turned, they didn't look. And I know that's the fault of the driver, it's not the fault of the road. It's like when we say 69 is a bad highway, it's the drivers on 69. But I wasn't concerned about putting a new pole until I saw the price. And I know that Public Works has had a sign across those poles in the past. And I think they had 2 wires. And what happened is probably a transport was over height, caught the bottom wire, and tore the poles down. Now, I don't know what we have to do. We have a road law that says they can't be over 13'6".
It exists.
So if we have our stuff above that, we should be okay. I don't know if we're supposed to put it 27 feet in case somebody else wants to go higher.
No, it's
But-
15.6, I think.
But I thought if we had one cable high enough, and I don't know what the heights of the poles are, it didn't say. And I know the police said there was no accidents, no, but maybe we should be a little proactive, because there's been certainly a lot of close calls. But if we had one cable up high and the sign hanging, if a transport hits the sign, it sways. But if you put 2 cables, now the poles are coming. But I don't know what the heights of the poles are, but I'm not in a problem with putting it on our budget and looking at it with one cable and possible height.
That would consist of 2 poles plus the sign.
No, I'm thinking, I wondered if we can't use the existing, I know they got broke before, but because they had a cable across the top of the sign and at the bottom of the sign, and then it's solid when they hit it. But if they're overloaded and they hit a sign that's just attached at the top and sways, then they're not gonna tear the poles down. The sign's gonna move.
That involves some risk too, I believe. Councillor Bob?
I think we're going where we don't need to go right now. This was just, like I said, this
Well,
is
let's
just
put
a
it on
budget
budget.
item. Let it go to the budget and bring it up there. It is not the idea to stretch cables this time.
I don't want to stretch it at this time, but I'd like it as a
No.
budget item with a little bit more information.
And it's in the budget. It's being
With more
included.
information though at that
Yep,
time.
it's being
Well,
included.
the staff has made a report.
No, I know that, but I'd like to know what the height of the poles are, and if we had one cable, could we not have a sign that swings on it?
You got a ladder at home?
I could, your worship, but they probably charge you half that
Sorry.
guy holding it.
Well, there's
Councillor
a-
Bill?
Yeah. So right now, look, we're just gonna ignore it, okay?
Put it in the budget.
And just talk about it in the budget.
Yeah.
Maybe starting before the previous intersection and putting straight and left
They get
turns.
covered.
Eh?
They wear off and get covered.
Yeah, I know, but
It's a start, dude.
anyway.
Anybody else?
Regardless.
Councillor Ray?
Has anybody asked PW if we could just put it on the cross arm that's holding the signals?
Has to be far enough out. You can't do it.
And it's not close enough to the,
No.
Well, I mean, if we're thinking.
Anyway, we'll save it for the,
You know,
budget.
a pole midway,
Would be my
right?
suggestion.
I love you to talk about.
Yeah, I know.
Like putting a pole halfway, it doesn't make any sense either, it's just not far enough, right? But I'm just saying, maybe once they get there, they'll see it and say, oh God, we're in the wrong lane. That's what's happening now. Would that add to the confusion? Perhaps, I don't know.
If you go and look at the
just-
signal lights, you can't do it with those.
They could put more turning, paint more turning marks right from that light to that light, too.
Yes, in a case like that, I would have to agree with Councillor Ken Duplessis. I
Yeah,
don't think we
I
need
agree.
to,
Okay, all in favor of this?
It's a motion. Yeah,
Need the motion.
Yeah, all in favor.
yeah.
Yeah.
Carried.
What was the motion is?
Just to include it in the budget for
Okay,
discussion.
okay.
Yeah.
Which is all it ever was.
Item G1, moved by Councillor Bill Foster, second by Councillor Ron Duplessis. Be it resolved that whereas the town of Espanola wishes to ensure the safety of all travelers on Northern Ontario highways, and whereas the section of Highway 17 from the junction of Regional Road Number 4, Fairbanks turnoff, and Highway 6, Espanola Manitoulin Island turnoff, is a Class 2 highway for the purposes of winter maintenance. whereas the average daily winter traffic counts fall slightly short of that required to increase to the Class 1 highway. Now therefore be it resolved that the town of Espanola hereby requests the Minister of Transportation to reclassify this section of Highway 17 to be a Class 1 due to the high number of motor vehicle collisions, the extremely high number of tractor trailers and heavy equipment traveling this highway daily, and the topography of this section. And be it further resolved that copies of this resolution be forwarded to Michael Mantha, MPP for Algoma Manitoulin, Glenn Tebow, MPP for Sudbury, Carol Hughes, MP for Algoma Manitoulin, Kapuskasing, and Paul LaFave, MP for Sudbury, for their support.
Questions and comments? Councilor Ray.
Here it says highway number 5. I noticed you said number 6.
Yeah, so,
It has been corrected?
yeah,
Yep.
in the
Yeah,
resolution.
Okay, good.
Councilor Ron.
They reclassified, I believe, from Sudbury to that regional road 4, or whatever it is, at Fairbank, just a year ago or 2. Do you know, Paula? No, I know they reclassified a part of it.
Yes.
I think it was there. I thought they were gonna do the whole thing at the time, but by the looks of this, they didn't. And I thought that was the assumption, which we should never make. I thought they were coming right through. And I did tell you earlier, Worship, I don't think we're gonna get much out of the ministry unless everybody lobbies. But there was a situation yesterday when people were coming from the island, and I don't know if you were in Sudbury, where on the Willisville Hill, the snow was building so bad that there was a transport halfway up. Traffic had to go around and we couldn't go anymore. Even the sand truck went around them, and the guy was stuck in the hill there with the snow. So it's bad.
Councilor Ken.
Just for information, when I was on the Glosh foothills, they had a lot, that side fights for it a lot. I think it has to do strictly with the numbers.
Road counts.
So that's why they didn't do this part of the highways. He said it's just as
Yeah.
important, but
It's all traffic counts.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a number thing with them.
You can die if there isn't enough cars.
Well,
So this is recommendation. Okay, all in favor of this, G1? Carried. Yes, correspondence for information only. I scribbled on it. Your Honor, concerning 28,
Your Honor, on H1 question on the ballot, just some information. We had quite a discussion about this maybe a year and a half ago, and we're going to let it go. If we want a question on the ballot, I don't know if council is still interested, but that was to do with fluoride. So it's still, it says here in the law, you have to have a bylaw in on before March 1st. Thank you.
any questions or comments about that?
No, it's
Just for information.
Just for information, all right.
Yeah.
This information was previously circulated to council. We required a copy of the information. It's available at the municipal office, the check register, the town of Amberburg resolutions, MAG correspondence regarding POA modernization efforts, MOF property tax policy, SDHU invite regarding strategic plan, and FNOC correspondence regarding Northern Ontario platforms. Conferences and conventions, there are none. Mayor and councilor reports and announcements, verbal. Councilor Bump.
Nothing, Your Worship, thank you.
Councilor Ray.
I have nothing, thank you.
Councilor Ron.
I'd like just to commend Public Works. I know we had a pretty good storm yesterday, maybe not as bad as they had predicted, but it was pretty good with some rain at the end. And I would like to say, I know that our crews always start early. Must have been exceptionally early or drove a little faster, I don't know. But the roads in town, when I went for coffee, were over 3/4 done.
Yeah.
And by about 8:30, I think they were all done.
Yeah.
And it was nice that that happened, because I know people get concerned, there's people going to work and whatever in the morning. The other thing is, I noticed, I think Cynthia received a little bit of information on OPP. I wonder how far away before we can get together maybe. And I also have a question. They had given us a 6-month timeline, but we were a long time getting stuff from them. Do you know if they're gonna extend that 6 months a little bit?
So we would have to ask, and I was actually gonna propose once we get to later on in the agenda for future council meetings, that we have a meeting next Tuesday. It's
Perfect.
the 5th Tuesday of the month, and at that time I can bring our budget, as well as what I have so far for OPP. So they won't automatically extend that, but we would have a good case if we were to ask for an extension.
I would think so.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So next Tuesday then.
Is it for sure next Tuesday we're doing it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
All right,
That's the date.
Councillor Heather,
I agree.
Councillor Ken.
Just a couple little things. Most of the council attended the Wall of Fame
Yes.
party we had for Chrissy Belcourt. It was very interesting, and she's a very talented and very different individual. The other thing is the info that was included with the tax bill, the town events, and the pool schedule, library schedule is a good way to do things when you don't necessarily, newsletters and out, it gets to everybody. And the library is going through a better change, I think. And it was a good way to get it out to 3,200 people for sure. Thank you.
Okay. Councillor Bill?
I had a taxpayer compliment the town. He walks downtown on a daily basis, and he commented on how well the town gets sidewalks and stuff after snowstorms.
Yeah.
And I was just gonna ask and I guess Cynthia's answered the question. We got the budget, we got the policing, and if that starts on Tuesday, some more information, that's good.
Okay, and I too attended the Hall of Fame thing, and I was very pleased with the people that were there, and I was really pleased to meet Mrs. Belcourt and the people that she had with her. And it was really, like Ken said, a really interesting time. And they're very nice, like the talented beyond compare. Her resume reads like I don't know, the girl mustn't have any time to sleep with the amount of stuff she does. So it was a pleasure to meet her and commend her. Okay, this meeting is now adjourned. All in favor? Carried.
I thought you were going to say after you finished reading the credits, you had to take a lounge, your worship.
Yeah.